Hello everyone, so welcome back. Today I'm going to teach science of class 7. This is a continuation of lesson number 3. Lesson number 3 we have already started, and in the previous I will help you to recall what we have learned in the previous lecture. We have learned about wool in the previous class. So how do we get wool? What are the animals that yield wool? Processing we have learned. So today we are going to learn the second topic of lesson number 3, that is silk. This is the second topic of lesson number 3, silk. So under this we are going to learn, today we are going to learn introduction, then life history of silk moth. We are going to learn life history of silk moth, life history of silk moth. Life cycle in short we are going to learn. Then the third is from cocoon to silk. From cocoon to silk. So today we are going to discuss about silk, introduction, life history of a silk moth. So how do we obtain silk from cocoon? So let's start with the introduction part. So page number 28, silk is given. So silk fibers are also animal fibers. Silk fibers is animal fibers name. Silk fibers are also animal fibers. They are obtained from silkworms. The rearing of silkworm, the rearing of a silkworm, the rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk. Silk fangnabagi damakta silkworm yokpasibo koina sericulture ko. It's called sericulture. It's called sericulture. So the rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. This is the introduction part. So let's start with the first point under the topic silk. There is life history of a silk moth. 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 So when we discuss life history of a silk moth, you'll find that the female silk moth lays egg. The female silk moth lays eggs from which hatch a larva, which are called caterpillar. Caterpillars are also called silkworms. Caterpillars are silkworms. Caterpillars, they grow in size, and when the caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of its life history called pupa, ready. Caterpillar dagi pupa haibi stages da masi ready or haga sanjala ko matamda masi ke doiba. The caterpillar secretes fiber made of protein. Secretes the caterpillar dagi pupa haibi stage next stage is sanjala ke haibi matamda caterpillar secretes fiber made of protein. तब तब ना मासे खुमजनगिनी मासे covering अमल आकनी खुमजनगिनी. So the caterpillar completely covers itself. So खुमजनगिनी मासे covering जिबु कई कौये कोई ना cocoon कौये. This covering is called cocoon. The further development of the pupa into moth. See pupa is the silk moth amu onge haidana development do kai to ihare kadi. The development continues inside the cocoon. Manung is the development si thole. Masigi cocoon sidagini akona kai phangdoiba silk phangdus. Masigi cocoon sidagini akona kai phangdoiba silk phangdus. So I repeat again, the female silk moth lays eggs. Masigi eggs hatches. Manung sidagi kai walani caterpillars si akona silkworms si kawi, and they grow in size. And when they are ready to enter the next stage, people are they secrete a fiber made of protein and covering amalakani and completely covers pull up kupsen gini masigi this covering is called cocoon masigi cocoon sidigi koina silk function. And further development of pupa to silk moth continues inside the cocoon. So this is the life cycle of silk moth. Silk yarn cocoon digi phangduni koina silk si cocoon sina maru oiba oire. The silk yarn is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. Masigi variety of silk moth ki variety amle variety of silk moth ki variety amle hai silk moth ki makhal me amle aduna maram oidana moi makoi cocoon dagi sarakadaba madugumba yarn dusu magi texture do amta manaroi texture do different one. So there is a variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn they yield is different in texture. Silk moth makhal mayam leibni matung ina madudigi phangkadaba yarn dusu aidi thread dusu texture amta manaroi. The khwadigi common oiba hairagadi the most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. Mulberry silk moth in khwadigi common oiba. Mulberry silk moth in khwadigi common oiba. So the most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth in khwadigi common oiba. So this is the life cycle. So the third point of today's topic, or the third point of today's lecture under the topic silk is from cocoon to silk. From cocoon to silk. This life cycle to the cocoon kamane phangi nahi nagre. She cocoon ji kaide phangi kaide life cycle gi karam bazaga de cocoon ji awi ko using nahi nagre. Masigi cocoon ji de ko silk kamane phangtu. So from cocoon to silk, how we are going to obtain silk from cocoon? So for obtaining silk, moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads. Moths are reared. See the topic ani tamgani rearing silkworms. Point ani tamgani rearing silkworm havunga processing silk havunga. So I repeat. Under this point, from cocoon to silk, we are going to discuss two major points. That is, one is rearing silkworms, and the other one is a processing silk. So we will start with the rearing silkworms. Rearing silkworms. Rearing silkworms. Rearing silkworms. Rearing है योग पदुनी. A female silk moth lays 100 of eggs. Female A amakna. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs. Amukta marum chama koi chama hena chama me hundreds of eggs at a time. Masigi eggs, the eggs are warm to a suitable. These eggs, they are warm. They are warm to a suitable temperature. Warm to a suitable temperature. Suitable temperature is thermony for the larva to hatch. From eggs larva tholak nabagi damata suitable temperature the thamakanda larva tholani. Larva is the caterpillar duni. Masi caterpillar larva si kedawani kona larva si caterpillar jini. The larvae are kept in a clean bamboo trays. So after getting larva, the larva cruel oibini are kept in a clean bamboo tray. Clean bamboo tray. The masi larva se thame caterpillar along with a freshly chopped mulberry leaves along with a freshly freshly chopped by the pig penis, so that now chopped mulberry leaves. So after getting larvae, they are kept in a clean bamboo tray along with the freshly chopped mulberry leaves. When they grow in size. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillar stop eating. After 25 to 30 days, stop eating. They stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. Cocoon. As I fiber to pithor, they secretes fiber made of protein. Finally, it covers completely. So, in the point under the point of rearing silkworms, we obtain cocoon. After 25 to 30 days, they stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of the bamboo in the tree to spin cocoons. Next step is processing silk. Processing silk. A pile of cocoons is used for obtaining silk fibers. The cocoons are kept under the cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. So after getting the cocoon, a pile of cocoons are collected and the cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fiber spreads out. So during this process, the silk fiber separated out. Silk fiber thola ani. So I repeat it again. After getting cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. During this process, the silk fibers separate out. Silk fibers se thola ani. So the process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling of silk. So the process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. So what is reeling the silk? What is meant by reeling the silk? The process of taking out threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. So reeling is done in special machines and silk fibers are then spun. So reeling is done in special machine. Then silk fibers obtained are then spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. So after obtaining silk fibers are then spun into silk threads, which are woven into silk cloth by weavers. So with this, lesson number 3 is complete. So I'll summarize what we have learned today. So today we have discussed about introduction of silk. That is, silk are animal fibers and are made up of protein. Silk fibers are animal fiber and are made up of protein. Then we have discussed life history of silk moth. In short, life cycle we have discussed. We have discussed how do we obtain silk from cocoon to silk. How the process from cocoon to silk we have discussed. Rearing we have discussed under this topic. Processing of silk. That cocoon kept under the sun or boil or exposed to steam, and during this process silk fiber separates out. And we have discussed reeling also. We have discussed reeling. We have discussed. So I repeat it again. In introduction, we have discussed the silk animal fibers. We have discussed sericulture. Then the life cycle we have discussed, and from cocoon to silk. Under this we have discussed rearing of silkworm, then processing of silk, how cocoons are kept, that cocoons are kept, how cocoons are obtained we have discussed. Then cocoons are kept under the sun or boil or exposed to steam. Reeling we have discussed. So now the most important part of the lecture, of today's lecture, or every lecture, the most important part is evaluation. So to evaluate yourself, I'll write down some questions which would help you to check whether you have understand the topic or not. So what is sericulture? You are not supposed to write the answer in your classwork notebook. This is just for evaluation, to check whether you understand the topic or not. What is meant by reeling the silk? Reeling the silk. So I repeat, in order to evaluate yourself, go through the lecture again and again, and you can take the reference of textbook also. So you are not supposed to write the answer in your classwork notebook. This is just an evaluation. These questions will help you to check whether you have understand the topic or not. So we have discussed sericulture, we have discussed reeling. So the questions are, what is sericulture? What is meant by reeling the silk? So you have to find the answer of sericulture and reeling the silk. The answer are also given in your textbook, and we have discussed these two questions in today's lecture also. So please go through the lecture again and again. You will find the answer. Surely you will find the answer, and you will find the answer in your textbook also. You can take the reference of textbook also. So what is sericulture? First question. Second question is, what is meant by reeling the silk? So with this, I think lesson number 3 is complete. And in the next lecture, we will take up new lesson. So with this, I conclude my lecture. This is a continuation of lesson number 3. Thank you.